Hey everyone. So in this video, we wanted to talk about something that feels particularly relevant to us right now. We've both been having a bit of a wobble today, and I've certainly felt like I've got a lot of stuff, emotions, feelings that I've maybe been unconsciously squashing down and not wanting to feel, and lo and behold then they come rushing out all at once, which can feel quite overwhelming. And I find that sometimes in these situations we can be really hard on ourselves. We hold such high expectations for ourselves that when we feel like maybe we are letting ourselves or others down, or not doing what we feel like we should be doing or what we'd planned to be doing, all those expectations that we have, that we can be really hard on ourselves. And so we just wanted to have a conversation about that, because I certainly had this morning a lot of chatter about, yeah, but I should be able to kind of get over this quickly, and I'd planned to do all this stuff today, and all of that unhelpful noise, which doesn't make me feel any better. And so we just kind of wanted to explore, well, what's another option? What can we do in these situations where maybe our autopilot is to turn on ourselves and judge ourselves and add those extra layers of unhelpful noise, and what we can maybe do instead.
Yeah, gosh, yes, absolutely. And I'm so grateful that we've got each other, and because I think if we hadn't booked in a call anyway this morning, I would have gone off and tuned in to the Mad Woman in the Attic and been taking counsel from her, which never ends well. And it can so easily escalate, can't it? When we don't see that that's what's happening. And then the judgment and the criticism, and I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing it well enough, or what's the point, or all of that. And you end up feeling bruised. You know, when we've just come back on this call now, B said to me, how are you doing? Are you feeling bruised? And it's, yeah, it feels like that. And you might be a parent or carer or somebody struggling with something yourself. And it's so easy for us to do that, to beat up on ourselves, because we've done it for so long. And it kind of, in a way, that's kind of how society works in a way as well. Judgment, 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 comparison, even comparison with ourselves, how we were yesterday or even this morning. And it's all unhelpful when we do that. It's in fact, it's funny because I do a lot of embroidery and needlecraft, and I'm doing a series of things at the moment that somebody's created at the start of the year, and each week, each Friday, we get a prompt to create something. And this week's was words, and the words I chose to write, to embroider, were add love. After having gone through my head and thought I could really do with writing some swear words right now. But I chose in the end to add love, because I think that is always so helpful.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because when you think about, like, so in this example, how we were both feeling a lot of feelings and we were comforting each other, but we weren't doing that to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's like we maybe rely on other people, or sometimes that can even be hard to allow people to do that. But we would never kind of go and not physically beat up, but kind of emotionally beat up a friend or a loved one if they're kind of feeling all the feels, and if they're in a place where they feel really overwhelmed. You're not going to go in and say, kind of pull yourself together and, oh yeah, you really shouldn't be feeling like this because of XYZ. You managed to deal with this stuff previously, so surely you can pull yourself together and get through it now. Like that's not how we talk to the people we love, and yet we so easily do it to ourselves. And I think it's like one of the things is just remembering that in every single moment we're doing the best we can, and that's going to look different in every single moment. And actually, yeah, the best that we can and kind of should be doing, I know we should avoid saying shoulds, but is allowing ourselves to feel everything. Like that is the most helpful thing for, in our case, for us to do in this moment. That is the kindest thing that we could possibly do to ourselves. So actually, yeah, that's our best, because actually powering through and trying to squash it down and sticking to what was in the diary, because I don't know if somehow we might have, it would seem like we have failed because we didn't achieve what we had kind of, well, set out to achieve when we had penciled this time in a few days ago. And I think this idea of, it kind of ties in with this idea of productivity, that, oh yeah, but I haven't done enough today, there haven't been enough outputs, I haven't been productive enough in order to allow myself this time to feel what I need to feel. And it's like trying to justify that, which again I think is just adding on those extra layer of judgments, isn't it? Because we don't need an excuse to give ourselves this time and space to actually experience whatever is going on for us. And that it's mad to think that that's seen as maybe an indulgence, that actually it's a sign of strength to power on through. Whereas actually I really don't see it that way at all. I think that loving ourselves enough and respecting ourselves enough to give ourselves that time and space is hugely important, and I think undervalued a lot by ourselves and others.
This idea, though, that we are all doing the best that we can is so true. And it's going to vary from moment to moment. And I wonder whether we actually believe that, though, because we say it, and B and I say it a lot, you know, we're always doing the best we can, or your loved one is always doing the best that they can, given what looks real to them in the moment. But do we believe it? Because I think if we did truly believe it, we would find a bit more peace for ourselves in our lives, a bit more kindness, a bit more compassion, and not just for the people out there, but for ourselves. Because if I really did believe that I was doing the best I can, then I wouldn't be just kind of on this spiral of self-criticism.
Yeah. And I think there's also this, when we talk about we're doing the best we can, there's maybe a tendency to then go and compare what our bests look like on different days or different moments, and thinking, oh yeah, but my best was better yesterday. But actually, even thinking about that, it's like, well, how are we measuring that?
Yeah.
How are you measuring what a better best looks like? Is it because you feel like you met more of your expectations or the expectations that have been set for you by someone else? Is it because, I don't know, just like because you feel like you've been more productive, and that's again another kind of societal measure of success? And I think all those things, it can be really helpful to kind of trace them back to their source, because actually there is nothing to say that actually us taking even the whole day, a whole week, a whole month, however long we need to let ourselves kind of recalibrate, that is no better or worse than spending a day firing off 100 emails, doing loads of client calls, giving talks, all that kind of stuff. There is no, neither is better nor worse than the other. And yet we're constantly comparing, like we were saying at the start, comparing against ourselves, against what we did yesterday, about what we used to be capable of 5, 10, 15 years ago, and how maybe we're not, or we don't want to do it that way anymore, or we can't, or we don't feel like we're able to. And it's just this constant comparison, or yeah, but this person wouldn't take out that much time for themselves. And it's just, yeah, it's that constant buzz of comparison and judgment. But I think when we can start to see it first, and see it for what it is, which is probably like, well in my view, really unhelpful beliefs, that actually, or beliefs and stories that actually we have a say over whether or not we actually want to believe them anymore, whether or not they serve us anymore, and reprioritize and put value on this, on feeling, on expressing, on all of this stuff, because it's really important. It's really important for our mental health, our well-being, our physical health. I mean, I have had back pain for the last 3 years and plus, and it really flares up when I am stressed and I have tension, and which is why my back has been so bad for the last few days, because I've been holding so much stuff in. And so it's, yeah, it can be physically debilitating as well. So actually this isn't an indulgence at all, it's an absolute necessity. But for some reason we're holding on to all these stories that say the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would your, I know we don't give advice, but what would your kind of pointers be here? What would you say is important for us to share with those listening about this?
Notice judgment.
Yeah.
Notice any judgment that you might have, and comparisons.
Yeah.
And know that if it creates tension and kind of friction and kind of those yucky, spiky feelings, then it might be time to let those go.
Yeah.
And to take time and give yourself space to feel what you need to feel. And yeah, just notice when you're being hard on yourself, and know that you don't have to be.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, there is a different option. What about you?
Add love.
Yeah.
That's what I would just add into that, is add love. Yeah, that's it.
So I hope you found this helpful. Yeah, leave any comments below if you like to, and we'll see you in the next video.